Hey guys. So I was asked what my process is for recording these videos, editing these videos, actually. So I thought I'd take a few minutes to go over how I do it. Now I'm not going to talk about how to capture video. You can find that kind of thing all over the place on YouTube. I'm going to assume that you've already captured some raw footage and now you need to edit it into a movie. So this is my personal process. Now I'm certainly no expert on this whole thing, but I'll show you what I do. So basically, I use two programs for this. I use VideoPad Video Editor and Audacity. This is for my video editing of video, and this is for sound. And I'll show you what I'm doing for this. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up VideoPad. So we'll give this a minute to initialize the cache. Takes just a second. Okay, so it's asking us what we want to do here. Let's go ahead and create a new project. Alright, so let's see, we've got a few panels here. I'll explain all these as we're going through. The first thing we need to do is we need to bring in our raw footage that we've captured. Now, there's a couple ways we can do this. I can go up to the Open button and pull the files in from here. So, as far as raw footage, what I've got here are two files. Basically, as I was recording a session, I ended up having to stop it somewhere towards the middle, and then restart it. So that's why there's two files. Now sometimes I have to do this multiple times. I've had times when I've had like 5 files I've ended up with. So our goal here is to get these two files in, get them edited and into a single movie to place on YouTube. Okay, so that's one way you can do it. You can also, if we open up the directory folder, you can go to Ryan Cam Recordings. So I've got them here. So these are my two raw footage files, and then I've got a project file I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so we can actually drag this over to this panel, and we'll start adding a file. Now this is a long process. You can see this particular file I pulled in is 44 minutes long, and the second one is another 34 minutes on top of that. It'll take probably about 3 hours for this file to come in for each of these files. So rather than wait 6 hours for us to, I'm going to cancel all of that, rather than wait 6 hours for us to pull in these files, usually what I'll do is I'll tell them to load, and then I'll go do something else, or I'll do it overnight. What I'm going to do is open a project. I'm going to open this recording project. All this is, let's go discard this. All this is the same project where I've just pulled the two files in already, just to save us that 6 hours. So assume that it's been 6 hours and we've pulled in our two files. At this point I would save the project. Normally if this was a new unnamed project, it would ask you for a project name, which is what this file is right here. Okay, so this is where we would be 6 hours later. Here, let me pull these out here actually. Okay, this is what it would actually look like. So, okay, we need to now So we've got our 2 video files. This panel is basically your repository of all your files, and it's broken down into a few different things. You've got sequences, video files, audio files, and images. So right now we've got a couple of video files. So yeah, now we want to edit these 2 files. So when my video capture device captures files, it basically names them with a timestamp. You can see this particular file right here. Go away. This particular file right here is it's got a 2014. Let's see, 2014 10/18. So it was recorded October 18th, 2014, and it was recorded at 8:31 in the morning. And this one was recorded at 9:40 in the morning on the same day. So this is your first file, this is your second. So that's how you know which one's first, second, etc. So I'm going to pull this down and drop it into my video track. Now the second file, we'll do the same thing. Now this one we want to put at the end of the first file. Okay, so now you've got your entire sequence from start to finish laid out. Alright. Total, it comes up to almost an hour and 20 minutes worth of video. And then right in the middle of it, you've got a transition between 2 files, or between 2 clips. So these 2 boxes have now populated. This is your clip box, and this is your sequence box. A clip is any one of these files. So I've got 2 clips right now. So if I just wanted to deal with this clip individually, I would deal with it in this box. The sequence is the whole thing altogether. Now right now these things are sequential, so it doesn't really matter which one we'd use. But in a minute we're going to have a couple more extra files, and it will matter. So you'll notice that these are actually movie files, and even though they're sitting under the video tab, when I pulled them into the sequence editor, I ended up with 2 tracks. I've got a video track and I've got an audio track. Okay. Now this audio track is embedded with the video track. They're inseparable. Okay. So I'm going to play just a second of this just to show you guys something, and I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear it. You'll see. But let me play this.
That might have been too easy.
Let's see here. Where's the rest of these guys got? So I don't know if you guys can tell, because I'm going to end up filtering this video like I do all my videos, which I'll show you. But the audio quality on that is terrible. There's a lot of electronic noise going on in the background, popping and hissing and such, which just comes from the electronics. So we got to clean that up. So what we're going to do is head over to Audacity. Let that load up. So yeah, we're just going to do some mechanical stuff here. So file, I'm going to import audio. This. So we'll take the first file, which is just the first 831, and we'll let that open. Now this 45-minute file will take probably about a minute to load. So I'll pause the video for a second and let that load in. Okay guys, so it took about just a little under a minute for that file to load up, which is a lot better than the 3 hours it takes the video file to load in the other program. So a couple things. You notice we got, at the beginning, we got about 7 minutes of just flatline. For whatever reason, and I don't know why this is, Audacity always puts some amount of this flatline in front of all the files. And I've seen this get like 20 minutes long sometimes. I don't know why it does that. It may be a file thing, I don't know. But we'll have to deal with that later. So what I'm going to do right now is grab the zoom tool and just zoom in on the front section of this. Okay, so what you're looking at, give me the bar. What you're looking at is we've got the very end of the flat line, and then we've got about from 7:05 to 7:14. We've got what's basically blank. This is noise. I always leave about 5 to 10 seconds of just nothing. I don't say anything when I first start the videos for about 5 or 10 seconds, just to get this blank in here. And the reason I do that is because you have to teach Audacity what noise sounds like. And you have to do this for each individual file. And the reason you have to do that is because noise can be different for any individual file. So if we go here and we play this, you can hear it's just background hum noise, and then I start talking right about here. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's go ahead and load up our last save game, which was the Stout and Shipyard. So what I'm going to do is take the bar and just drag across some of this noise, and then we'll go to Effect, Noise Removal, and get Noise Profile. So that teaches Audacity what noise for this file sounds like. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Control F to zoom back out again. We'll hit Control A to select all, and then we'll go Effect, Noise Removal again. And then this time we'll just leave all these defaults and hit OK. Now it says this is going to take about 2 minutes. It'll probably take a little bit less than that. But again, I'll pause the video while this is going. Okay guys, the thing's almost done. Keep an eye up here when it finishes at the noise profile, the sound profile I should say. It's just finishing now. Okay, you notice it got a lot skinnier as I went through. Let's take just a quick look back in here again. It's almost hard to see now, but here's your flat line. And then right in here is where the noise, the blank that I recorded started. And then this is your, if we take the bar and kind of stick it over here and hit play. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's go ahead and load up our last save game. Alright, so again, I don't know if you guys can hear this because I'm going to take this video and filter it exactly the same way, so it might end up filtering out some of the original background noise. But that is way, way better than the original raw file that we had. Okay, it's much cleaner. It's not perfect. You can still hear a little bit of electronic noise in the background, but it's a lot better than it was. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is export that. Let's get over to our recording tutorial. So I'm just going to leave the same name. It's going to save it as a WAV file. Unfortunately, you can't just put it back into the video file where we got it from. You have to save it as a separate file. So we'll let that save out. Okay guys, so that file's just about finished saving. I'm going to stop the video here, and what I'm going to do is, close that. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing with the second file, this one right here. So we'll end up with a second WAV file. Alright, I'm not going to bother to make you guys watch through the process a second time. It's just going to be exactly the same thing. So I'll pause here, and we'll pick this back up when we're ready to move back over to the program. Okay guys, so I've completed the second file, and if we load up the directory again, you notice I have now, that's fine. I've got the original video files, and now I've got these two WAV files to go on. Okay, so that's all we're doing with Audacity. And I should say Audacity has a lot more functionality than I'm using it for. All I'm using it for is to remove noise from the audio files. But of course it has all kinds of other stuff it could do. I mean, look at all these effects that you can throw in there. So there's certainly plenty of stuff that we could do with the noise files, the sound files. I'm sure if I played with this a little bit, I could add a whole bunch of effects. But anyway, that's all we use it for, and I don't need to save anything for this. We've already exported the files. So we'll pull VideoPad back up. Now, similarly to how we added those video files, we've also got to add these sound files. So what we want are these WAV files. I'll just drag them over here. Now these are just audio files, so they load up much faster than the video files did. Just take about a minute to load these guys up. Okay, it hangs at 99% for a second. For whatever reason. Okay, and we'll pull the second one in, same way. Okay, so we can close this out while that's loading. Okay, so just like before, we're going to drag this down into the edit box. Now this time, we want these to play concurrently. Ooh, excuse me, guys. We want these to play concurrently with the video file. So let's drag that in, and we'll do the same with the second video file, or the audio file. Okay, now the first thing you're going to notice is they're not lined up. Obviously, this audio track is much longer than the original, and similarly for the second audio track is much longer than the original. So you can see this audio track has a duration of 51 minutes 32.9 seconds, whereas the original had a duration of 44:27.8. Now the reason for that, of course, is Audacity put this blank space in here. So if I do some quick math, this file is 7 minutes 5.1 seconds longer than the original. So what I want to do is go up to this clip. Let's select the clip we want. Go up to this clip right here, and we're going to edit this down to be the same length. So I'm going to drag the tracker over to somewhere around 7 minutes. So you can see we're at 6:55, and I'll just hit play. And let it get, what we want to do is get to 7:05. So we can drag over. There, we'll play for another second. Alright, we want 7:05.1. So there it is. So you notice there's two clicks where it sits at 7:05. So I'll just pick one at random. It doesn't really matter which one. And then I'm going to split the clip right where the tracker is. So since I'm working in the clip preview, it's only going to affect this one clip. So let's go ahead and cut it. So you notice down here in the editor, the clip has now been split into two parts. This part and this part. So I'm going to take the first part, which is blank, and I'm just going to hit the delete key and delete it out. Then I'm going to right click and hit close cap and drag. Okay, now you notice it syncs this back up. And if I zoom in really far, it's almost perfectly lined up. Sometimes they're not completely exactly lined up, but it's going to be so close that it doesn't really matter. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with this guy. He's 47 minutes 30.9 seconds, and the original track is 34 minutes 14.6 seconds. So if you do the math on that one, you'll notice this is 13 minutes 16.3 seconds too long for this clip. So we've got this clip selected. We'll go to 13 minutes. We need 16 seconds. Okay, there we go. 16.3 seconds is the number that we want. So we'll back it off a little bit. And again, we've got a couple of options. I'll just pick one at random and cut it. So same process. I'm going to take this piece and delete it out, and then hit right click and close gap and track. Okay. So it takes a second for VideoPad to load this in. Okay, there we go. So again, we'll zoom in on that and see kind of how we're doing. So yeah, those are lining up almost perfectly. All right. So now we've got, if you look here, we've got our video track, we've got our original audio track, which is the one with all the noise, and then we've got our clean audio track. Okay. So if I were to play this right now, I've got two audio tracks going. You might hear a bit of an echo.
Yes. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to start off.
We've got the both audio tracks going. So what I'm going to do is turn off. Actually, I'm going to turn this clean track off for a minute and play.
We got a mission to run.
But we've also got Pilsen, who's under attack. Let's go ahead and take care of Pilsen. Okay. Now I'm going to switch them. And again, I hope you guys can hear this. We'll see how much better that is. And then we'll go start up that next mission. Okay, so now we've got our audio synced with our video. Alright, so that's all the mechanical stuff that I do with every video that I'm about to do. So now we're set up for actually editing the video. This is, in my opinion, where it gets interesting. So we've worked with the clip preview right here, where we've cut just individual clips. Now we want to work with the entire movie as a whole, rather than the individual pieces, because we've got everything synced now. So we don't really need to worry about clips. What we need to worry about is the whole sequence, which is what this panel on the right is. So you remember I said I usually let the video run for 5 seconds or so. That's too long for to just be silence. We want to cut some of that out, so I'll show you how to do that. So let's just play this. And I'm going to stop it when I start talking. So I start talking right about 9 seconds. So I'm going to back it off to about 7 seconds. It gives us like a 2-second lead-in time. Okay, so we're at 7 seconds. And I'm going to clip the video there. Okay, now it may be a little bit hard to see over here, but there's a clip right at the beginning. So let's zoom in on it so we can see it a little better. Okay, so you can see the clip, when I cut it, clipped across the entire sequence. So I'm going to select this first piece. I'm just going to hit the delete key to delete it out, and then I'm going to select the second piece, and you see it selects both of them because these are embedded files. You can't separate these two. I'm going to delete that out. I don't need to close any gaps in the track because since I deleted everything, it did it for me. So if I zoom all the way back to the beginning and play, and it starts right up.
Welcome back. So let's go ahead and load up our last save game, which was the Stoughton Shipyard.
Alright. So let's zoom out of that. Okay, guys. So the video's taking shape. Now I'm going to show you just a couple of quick techniques. What I'm going to do... Okay, right here, as I track through the video, this is the start of a mission. Okay, right there is where I start the mission. in this particular video series, which is Saints Row, the way it's set up is you start a mission, it shows a cutscene, which is what you're seeing right through here. This is a cutscene, and then
Fuck bad, alright? So you should have no problem sneaking out in the confusion.
Just the same, I'd get the fuck out of there. Who knows what
okay,
could
and
happen.
then after the cutscene plays, there's this black loading screen. Okay, so let's assume that I recorded that up to starting that mission. It played the cutscene, and we got to this black loading screen. And then I played the mission for, like, say, 10 minutes, and then I failed. So if I failed, let's say I died, I ended up back at the hospital, I would have to go back to the mission start, it would play the cutscene again, and go back to this black loading screen. And let's say the second time I succeeded at the mission. So I don't want to waste the viewer's time by showing them a failed mission. We want to cut out the failure. So let's assume that's what happened. In actual fact, that's not what happened. What actually happened is I succeeded at that mission the first time. So I don't actually have a real-world example to show you. But let's just make the assumption that this is a failed mission. So at this black loading screen right here, what I'm going to do is cut the video. So I'll put in a cut. So this is where I'm doing the mission. So let's say about 10 minutes into it, right here I die. Okay. What this is showing you is actually where I succeeded in the mission, and it's showing you the end cutscene. But let's just say I died right here. Okay, and then I ended up back at the hospital, and I had to go back to the mission start again. Okay. And of course, again, I don't have a real-world example to show you. But okay, so we went back to the mission start, the cutscene replayed, and then this is the, say, like right here is the that black loading screen. So I would cut it here. So this whole section right in here would be the failure. You just hit the delete key, delete that, and if I've cut it at the black loading screen and I've started it again at the black loading screen, it's a seamless transition between the first edit and the second edit. So it looks like I just go right into the succeeded mission, if that makes sense. And I'm not really necessarily trying to hide the fact that I failed the mission. I let people know if I fail it. I just don't want to waste the viewer's time. As I'm, you know, they don't want to see me fail a mission. They want to see it succeed. Okay, so that's just a quick way I would edit. Let's try one more that's maybe a little more difficult. So that was a seamless because we had a black screen and we went to a black screen. But let's say I'm doing, for instance, a Hitman. Now, Hitman is where I have to travel around the city and I'm looking for a particular person. And it may take, say, 20 minutes for me to find this person. Well, again, we don't want to waste the viewer's time having them watch me wander around the city and nothing's happening except for me driving around. So let's say we want to cut that down some. So I'll probably say something along the effects of, this is where we start looking for them. I'm going to cut the video here. If I zoom in, I'll probably cut, you know, I play this and find a good stopping place. Let's say right in here. In fact, this is exactly what I did for this video, and I've already actually edited this video and posted it. So I'm just using it as an example for this tutorial. But let's go ahead and right about here, say, as I'm heading off to find this guy, we'll go ahead and clip the video here. And then let's zoom out. I actually end up spending quite a lot of time looking for this guy. Okay, right in here I find Don. So we'll go ahead and clip it right here. Because all this stuff in between, nothing happened except I was wandering around the city looking for this guy, right? So we can delete that out. Same way we did before. Okay. So we'll drag back here. So this is right here is where we started to drive off. And then we cut it here. So what's different about this, and I'll show it to you guys, is there's no
First, because Don's more of a night person.
so yeah, so there's no convenient place to cut the video like there was with the other one. Okay, did you see that? It just transitioned into a whole different place. So that's kind of jarring for the viewer. You don't really want to do that if you can help it. So what I'm going to do is zoom in on that cut right there. I'm going to transition. So there's a little button here, set video transition. And there's a bunch of transitions you can use here. The only one that I tend to use is the fade. And I'll put in a 3-second fade here. Okay. Zoom in a little more. So you see this little green bar across the top here, and then this is the fade. And then it goes green again. Right now it's this beige tan color. What that means is VideoPad is still rendering that fade. If I tried to play this right now, it's starting to put it in. But you see the video freezes. So I'll stop it. You gotta wait until it fills in, which it just did. So now if I try to play it again, go ahead and play. What are you doing? You'll see the fade goes in, and then it fades back into this other thing. It just gives a nice transition between two cuts, so it's not so jarring on the user. So I like to do that when I need to make a cut in a video where I don't have a nice like a black screen to cut between. Okay, so that's one technique that I use. So that's basically all I wanted to show you guys. There's maybe one other thing I could show you, and that's text. If I'm doing something during editing and I realize there's maybe some piece of information I need to give the user that I didn't mention in the video, you can do that through the add text function. So for instance, I'm saying right here at this time point, and I can just type in, let's see, this is some text. Okay. So you see it puts it in, and you see what's happened, it's put in another video track. And even if I zoom this in a little bit, and let's put in a long duration, I like to say 10 seconds. So 10 seconds is way too long for a text, especially one this short. I'd probably leave this one at 3 seconds. If I'm typing something really long, I might increase it to 5 seconds. But you see, we put in a second video track. Now the way I think this works is the top video tracks get priority over the ones that are underneath them. So this one goes on top, and then this one goes below it. And what that ends up doing is if I scroll over, this whole bit in this clip, all this checker pattern, means this is transparent. So the only thing that actually shows is the actual text. So this renders, and then this renders underneath it. Now what I typically do is drag this down to the bottom, so it's kind of on the bottom of the screen. Okay. And then yeah, there you go. And again, I can add more text. It adds it to the same more text. Okay, so yeah, you see I added a second text, and it adds it to the same video track. So yeah, guys, so that's about all I wanted to show you, I think. So we've got a full sequence here. We've got a couple of video tracks. We've got this dirty audio track, which I've turned off, and we've got the clean audio track below it. So that's my process, basically. So now I would go ahead and save the project. When I feel the video is done, okay, we'll go to export video, computer data, and then to the game recordings folder, and save, and hit create, and that would actually end up creating your movie, like such. Okay, now again, this is a long process. For this 40, almost 50-minute file, it would probably take 2 to 3 hours to do this. Okay, but at the end of it, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. At the end of it, what you would end up with whoops, that's not where I wanted to go. What you have is one of these. No, sorry, not one of those. You would have an AVI file. That particular AVI, I think, was number 26. This is the movie that I ended up with. Okay, and this has embedded in it all this video and all this text. It all just breaks down into this one file, and this goes up to YouTube. Okay, guys. So I hope that helps. That's my process of editing a video. Hopefully that'll help you guys, anyone out who's interested. I'm sure it's not the best way to do it, but that's the way I do it. So yeah, there you go. Alright guys, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer anything that I can. Alright, thanks a lot.